And welcome to Cryptic Crypto, the channel that gives you daily insights into the crypto market. Today we're going to be covering a plethora of different agendas. We're going to do some quick looking at some of the charts, looking at where we're at in terms of from a day-to-day basis. So guys, please like and subscribe if you like the content, and leave any comments down below if you want me to look at any of your different assets that you are holding. What a day. Green across the board, other than Telcoin, which is down about 1.8%. Everything else has had a nice little push to the upside, especially CRV and Clanker, which I will be covering individually this week. So let's get straight into it. So let's look at Ethereum first of all. Cool. Like for those that have been following the other day, I obviously put this line in a little while ago in terms of like trying to flip this into support. We've been doing that now, and we're back over $2,600, guys. I mean, that is fantastic news. We've been trading for a while now. We came all the way down to $2,100. We've had a trade open, which I opened obviously on the channel and showed you guys in one of my first videos, which is still live and still, you know, printing profit. For those that don't know, I'm obviously doing the 500 to 5,000 challenge. So please like and subscribe if you want to see more content from that. So Ethereum looking really bullish on the daily. XRP, we covered this yesterday looking at the XRP Bitcoin pairing. Now, we tried breaking this several times, and we actually broke through yesterday, and then came tumbling all the way back down. When we, when we break this line and turn it into support, I am going to be even more bullish than I am on XRP. And there's some news today which I think is really exciting for anyone that holds an XRP bag. Looking at SUI, I haven't covered this chart loads, but look, let's just delete the Fibonacci. I mean, like, we're looking at our hopefully a price target around about $3.50 next. We broke out of this triangle, came all the way up. This other line of support, which, you know, I've put there as resistance, which we're now flipped to support, and we're now beginning to push towards the upside. Really good trade that we opened on this before, and again, like I said, you know, we're looking at sort of $3.50 roughly as our next target. You know, for anyone that, you know, followed the trades before, look, we had this bullish pennant, we broke out, we followed it all the way up, and now, you know, we had a descending triangle come all the way down, and now we're beginning to flip it. We're actually turning the 20-day SMA into, you know, a bit of support, hopefully. And, you know, SUI is just looking really good. SUI is something I'm really bullish on as well, as you'd probably expect. And then going back to XRP, look, again, yesterday, we broke through. This was the line that I said, you know, cool, we break this line. You know, I'm ultra bull. There are lots of people bull posting going, opening trades up here when we're at like 230 to 231, 232, and that's the risk when you open trades at a line of support, right, guys? We want to break that, and if you're looking at a 4-hourly candle, you know, you want to at least make sure that we print on the outside. As you can see here, it's really clear. We came all the way up to the line, came back down, and it looks like we're going to obviously hopefully test that due to some like bullish news within the marketplace. And XRP for me is in a really good place to push back up to you know, some of the targets that we kind of ran through yesterday. So let's take a look at what's on the market. Boom, crypto. Crypto is on the up. Breaking: President Trump's Truth Social files for crypto blue chip ETF that includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and CRO. I mean, CRO has been pumping because of this news. I do find it a bit odd that 5% CRO and only 2% XRP, but the fact that it's actually been listed and President Trump's company, Truth Social, is investing in XRP, Solana, CRO, ETH, Bitcoin. Now, if the president's investing in it and you don't have some of these coins, get to know. Like, I mean, the man's in charge of literally the US and, you know, pretty much all the regulation there. So, you know, you've got to be pretty bullish from that perspective. That is huge news from that perspective. Look, another thing is, like, I think Donald Trump is obviously, like I've said it before, is looking to debase the value of the dollar. They're in trillions of debt, and the way in which they can obviously remortgage it, etc., is for the rates to come down and the dollar price to be low. Look, stop holding your dollars or your pounds, guys, or your euros. In my opinion, put it in like a deflationary asset like Bitcoin. Yes, okay, cool. I have said, you know, at some point in the future, when I view that we're getting close to the top, I will be exiting the majority of my trades in a profit. Now, if we look at Bitcoin again on the daily, look, we're trading above like what I believe is you know, a bull flag. We've got the resistance that we've put up here as, from that perspective. That for me, again, similar to the XRP trade, it's not good enough that we just break this line. We need to break this one as well for me to be ultra. We've obviously got a Bitcoin trade that we've had open since 102,000. We've held on to that. We took some profits. Now we're above that line, and we're looking at the next target of around about 114,000. Ultra bullish from that perspective, and I will be taking some more profits at 114,000, guys. Not on my spot trades, you know, those are bags that, you know, I dollar cost average when the price is coming down, but on the way up is where I take profits. From that perspective as well, like looking at things, look, Connor Kenny, Fidelity has purchased 610 Bitcoin worth 66 million. Institutions are still aggressively stacking Bitcoin. ETF flows for July the 7th, approximately 1.98 thousand Bitcoin and 24,170 Ethereum. Look, Bitcoin recorded 260 million in net flows in a day, and ETH recorded 62 in net inflows in a day. Bullish. And what's happening already? Trump Social is going to have an ETF where you can, I suppose, mitigate your risk against multiple different top performing coins, and that money will be going into those cryptos: XRP, CRO, Solana, ETH, and Bitcoin. Bullish. US House says it's taken historic steps to ensure the future of crypto remains, the US remains the capital crypto. My God, sorry guys. US House says it's taking historic steps to ensure the US remains the crypto capital of the world. Long day, apologies. You know, like the amount of bullish news that's in the market, and yes, Bitcoin's in the greed, but we're not in, you know, euphoria yet. In my opinion, it's still really low from that perspective, and it's massive. Okay, cool. It's not really great that how can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? It's not great that, again, the richest man in the world is, you know, picking a fight again with the most powerful man in the world, but it is what it is, right? I think that's already been priced in, to be honest with you, when we actually look at the charts. Again, looking at XRP, Korea is still at it. XRP volumes at Upbit within the hour is dominating all other global exchanges. Do they know something that we don't know? I mean, you know, they're buying more than Binance, Bybit, Crypto.com, all of these things, you know, almost 5 times the amount. You know, XRP is obviously incredibly popular within that location. Now let's have a look at CRV. CRV is the one that's obviously been pumping a bit. Just, you know, I obviously, you know, put a slanting line of support there just to see where we're at in terms of the trade itself. As I've mentioned to you, some of you guys before, you know, in terms of, it's not gonna let me do it. Go on. I thought it could be a channel, could be like that. Realistically, that could be a next line of resistance, or like that. So for now, I'm pretty happy. We've hit this 1, 2, 3 times on the daily. To me, that's like proving that that line there around about 48, 49 cents is some solid support there. We are now pushing off. Price actions are approximately 52 cents. As I've said continuously on this channel, I truly believe that this coin can go, you know, $5 plus, you know, from that perspective. And why do I think that? Because, you know, when you break it down, you look at the price action where we've been before, it's quite clear. You know, ideally, we're going to be looking at, you know, moving up to pretty much $1 really as soon as possible. If we get a good pump, some good volume. The volume's still not quite there for CRV, but again, if you don't know, I'm going to do a whole episode on CRV and Clanker coming to you very shortly. So please like and subscribe if you want to see that content, where I'll go into detail around why I invest in these coins, and, you know, the value that I believe they will bring if you're investing in them. Now, cool. House preps for crypto week. The fact the White House has got a crypto week, massive. Elsewhere, the House Financial Services Committee on July the 3rd announced that the week of July the 14th will be Crypto Week. During this week, the House will consider various cryptocurrency-related bills, which I said yesterday Brad Garlinghouse will be attending. The agenda includes the Clarity Act, which establishes a framework for digital assets, the Genius stablecoin bill, bullish, which passed the Senate in June, and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, which prohibits Federal Reserve banks from issuing central bank digital currencies. I mean, that is pretty huge. You know, they're literally going, look, cool, we're going to do literally a crypto week where we're going to be discussing all around different cryptos, what's going to be happening there, and, you know, ultimately, that the more coverage, the more news, the more the White House pumps up this kind of rhetoric, fingers crossed, the more people will be flooding into the market, and your coins, your altcoins will be pumping. Fingers crossed some of you guys also have Bitcoin as well, but it is what it is. Bit of negative news, to be fair. I mean, Trump does love a flip-flop, and he's not my president, but, you know, fair play to him. He's gone. Trump says Ukraine will receive more weapons after the US pause on shipments. Donald Trump has said that the US will send more weapons to Ukraine after an announcement last week that Washington would halt some shipments of critical arms to Kiev. He has basically said he is not happy with Russia's Vladimir Putin, and that Ukraine was getting hit pretty hard. I mean, the man flip-flops quite significantly from there. 1 second he's having a great conversation with Putin, the next he's not. 1 second he's mates with Elon Musk, the next he's not. I do think because of this flip-flopping that a lot of this, to be honest, has been priced in, unless there is some pretty major news around, well, I don't even want to go into it, but some, you know, negative news from a global macro perspective. What we really want to create the euphoria and to help get the volume and help us like push up from XRP, Bitcoin all new highs, SUI all new time highs, and for your altcoins to really push is some macro positive news which is farmed out there to the masses. Now what that might be, I do not know, but when we look at the the Bitcoin dominance, which I think is coming down again. I mean, it's not been moving huge, if I'm honest, amount, but yeah, we're moving back down, which is obviously, you know, positive from that perspective, especially when the Bitcoin price is remaining the same. Like I said, if you want your altcoins to pump, what we need is Bitcoin dominance to come down. Ideally, Bitcoin price to still be going up, or, you know, kind of consolidating at a high price. And that will mean that liquidity is either flowing from Bitcoin into your altcoins, or the fact that there is a lot of investment coming in. And the fact that dominance is pushing down and we're below the 20-day SMA, you know, is a positive from that perspective. Obviously, to be honest with you, we want this to be coming out of this channel, because once it's out of this channel, that's when you begin to get really bullish, because you're like, cool, alt season is here. You know, we broke it briefly here in December, and when was that? That was when was when XRP started pumping, a lot of altcoins started pumping. It's when, you know, Ethereum was doing well. Everything was fantastic during that, and we didn't even fall that much, to be honest with you. We only fell to about 54%, but at the moment we're at, you know, 65%. So we need that to obviously come down for the prices to pump. So where does that leave us in the market? Cool, we're taking a couple of steps back in terms of altcoin season, but the market cap as a whole was increased by 1.29%. Brilliant to see, and there's a lot of positive news. You know, Sol back over 150, Ethereum over 2,600, Bitcoin over 109,000. I mean, CRO, you can just tell from the news that was going to pump. I really wish I'd seen that the second. It would have been one of the easiest trades ever. It's a bit of a shame that obviously, you know, CRO's up 20%, and it's part of obviously what Trump's mentioned. But XRP hasn't really moved that much, if we're honest, 0.66% in a 24-hour period with that rhetoric. Obviously, we're still waiting for the SEC and some other news to obviously be released, but ultimately that's where we're kind of at in the market. And it would have been brilliant to see. I mean, I would have absolutely have loved XRP to be 20% on the daily, but at the moment, you know, we're obviously waiting for it to break out. Good to see obviously Doge as well, up 8%, and to be fair, Cardano haven't even looked at that. Let's have a quick look at Cardano. Okay, cool. This isn't one of the charts that I've got up, but you know, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, without actually bringing my charts up, it's kind of difficult. Obviously, it's only a 20-day SMA. It looks like into support 8%. Doesn't look like 8%, to be fair. I could measure it, but we'll have to do that on another day when I get my channel up. But you know, it's quite a easy picture to look at that in terms of where we're hopefully looking to do. Like you can easily see that that's a line of support, right? 50 cents. I mean, hopefully all you guys at home can see that that is clearly a line of support on the daily, and that's quite obvious. Would have been an awesome trade if anyone had, you know, put a buy at around about 50 cents. You know, you'd already be up, you know, probably 8 to 10% on that trade. 3x leverage, probably 30% on that trade. Would have been quite an easy one to make. Anyway, guys, you know, that's my video for today. Like I said, please like and subscribe, share this on any medium that you want. You know, one of the most popular videos I've done is on XEN. And what I'm going to be looking to do is obviously look at more of my, what I'd call degen coins, like Telcoin, CRV and Clanker. My ones where I actually think they could seriously pump. You know, not like the 4x or the 5x that I'm hoping for from XRP. We are talking a lot more, which I'll run through, obviously, price targets from that perspective. Again, appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed it, and peace.